Vitality?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, here's the thing, Monty. Spoiler, I'll give you a little teaser because I already did this. In the title of the video, I just said in the title of the video, Vitality will win this split, the spring split. Because I mean, we discussed it a little bit on the last one. By the way, all of our speculations were absolutely accurate. Notice how everything we said was the case. 1, they can now play through all 3 lanes. 2, Upset's really good right out the gate. Spoiler, he hasn't even died yet. 3, magically, Kaiser's not the worst fucking player in the universe. It's like, dude, everything's fixed. I don't know how they've done it, but it looks fucking great.
Yeah. I think it just goes to show the power of swapping out a single player in the roster. If you really can take a superstar and slot them right in.
You're getting the absolute best player upgrade for that position. Yes, exactly.
But I mean, it does look like night and day difference. And it does. I also think, part of this is going to be that Kaiser has been and will be playing more engaged supports at the time. But I think even that can be a little bit misleading because he was dying at level 1 as Nautilus in some of these games at the end of last split. So it's not like he was looking amazing even on champions that you think might suit his play style a little bit better. But it really is, and perhaps it was just a motivation issue or a synergy issue with Neon on that bot side. But damn, this team turned it right around, looks great again. I will say the caveat is they started strong last split too,
they did,
and then fell off a cliff by the end. So maybe
it's the problem, Monty.
Up the brakes on this one, but looks great.
I've thought it through, and the wording is totally legit. And anything that happens in people's minds is up to them, Monty. I can't control the way people's minds work. Spoiler, if I could, it'd be a very different scene. So all I'll say is the obvious joke, but I'll phrase it very carefully so that we can all have fun, but not get in trouble. So all I'm going to say is, Monty, I know it's early days. We've only seen 3 games, but people did speculate. Obviously, there should be improved comms between Kaiser and Upset because they're both German. So I don't know what it is. Maybe there's just something about the German language that makes following orders easier.
Damn.
I told you I'd be very careful. Here's the difference. It's not like back in the day where I would just say the shit and it'd be some Reggie and we just get wrecked. Like, we get away with it now. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Exactly.
That was just the right amount of spicy, I think.
It was.
But
by the way, another angle I have on this team as well, and this is one that I think's mad missed, is bearing in mind now they do have, like, let's be real, like the best ADC is on their team and they have the best top laner. The jungler's in contention for the best. Like, fuck it. This, like, now is almost like super team status, dude. This looks really, really, like, this is the reason why I'm so hyped. Look, it's not that G2 couldn't win the split. G2 was a very strong contender too. The difference is, the reason I dream that Vitality gets really good is, I think this is the team that could do something internationally if they're good, bro. The fucking Bow factor Upset, like, this team could be really dangerous.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're all hoping for too, because with MSI having 2 teams, we want the second European team to also potentially do some damage.
You don't want any fucking Koi or Mad Lions. Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Send these 2 teams, please.
Yeah, you guys really don't want to see what happens to Koi or Mad Lions when they start hitting like T1 or
they would get
JDG.
murked by the Asian teams, mate. They would get so murked.
You don't want to see that. But I do think that G2 has enough star power and also has the kind of crazy factor to surprise people. They're genuinely a very good team. And this iteration of Vitality, if Kaiser is performing to the level that he has in the past, it's very difficult to see what the weak link is going to be, because a lot of these players do have international success, such as Perks, right? Or they are really, really promising at a mechanical level, like Bo or Photon or these guys that have shown they can really hold their own. And there's no reason to believe that Photon would be, outside of nerves, would be performing poorly internationally. He's not at the same level as some of the top, like, Korean or Chinese top laners, but I think he could hang okay. Dude,
I know everyone's obviously bigged him up, and we all even said he's the best top laner and stuff, but, like, I don't think people are taking this into account. Like, one, he actually technically at the moment is the better rookie out of him and fucking Bo, who I think on paper should be like the best rookie ever. And then secondly, has the Photon guy yet had a bad game? Have I missed it? Dude, he never has a bad... Even when they lose, it's like he actually does well or gets, like, kills in lane, and then they just don't win with him as the top laner. Like,
it's
what?
also
like,
when his team is behind, sometimes, he makes the teleport flank play that gets them back into the game as well.
To,
like,
course,
he's a playmaker.
I think the guy's a stud, mate. It's just crazy how consistent he is, isn't it? His floor is really high as well.
Yeah, I think he's super consistent. I think he's done an amazing job with this team. I think he was overall the best player on this roster throughout the split. Maybe he didn't have the same highs, but he certainly didn't have the lows of some of his teammates.
Yes.
So
Also,
yeah,
as an aside, I actually had an abstract concept I wanted to run by you and see what you think. Another reason I also think on paper this is going to be amazing. I've always bigged up that I wanted Perkz and Upset to play together. But even stylistically, I think they're an amazing pairing, Monty, because not only are mid and ADC traditionally the two best roles to carry through if you're not Korean, because bizarrely, if people don't know, Koreans just always had all this amazing top lane lineage, etc., and they could have the weak side ADC. Every other region, it's about strong side ADC and a strong mid laner. Right? Not only are those two people who fit those roles. But I've always said this, and so I said it in my video about this topic. I actually think the mistake with a lot of super teams in the past is when the two stars like that are the same player. Like, you know, when Reckless joined Elements, the problem he had was him and Froggen are the same player, but playing AD and mid. So you just end up with like a very limited style because the two players have the. I think what you want actually is you want people who have contrasting style. So what I love about Perkz is his whole shit's like he's going to pull out the fire, he's going to do the crazy clutch play, the decisive thing. He's going to go and make a play. He's not trying to perfectly CS like Larson and just winning. He's not trying to chovy the game. He's more in the Faker Xiaohu mold. So the good thing is Upset is that guy, but for ADC, he's the super consistent, high floor, always has all the meta champions, will always do. If you have the two together, you just have the complete team. It gives you that, it gives you the options as to what you do, and you cover each other's flaws. Like if Perkz has a bad laning game, bro, he's got the best side laners in the game. He's got Photon and Upset. If someone like Upset is just laning, but it's just going average, he's got the guy who can do the hero play. It's not all on his shoulders, 1v9 at the end of a game. I actually think there's another aspect is you want people who like complement each other with their strengths. It's not the same strength or the same weakness, or you'll be too one-dimensional, I think.
Yeah, I think the on paper roster. I mean, we said this about Vitality before, though, that, you know, surely this must be the time that it works. And the strong start is a great indication. It's also the way that they're winning and the way they've looked much more dominant, and that snap of the fingers, all their bot lane woes seem to be fixed. It looks like switching Neon out was the right call instead of Kaiser, that perhaps that was the issue, or the synergy was the issue, and Kaiser was going to be able to rebound. It's what we said, especially because the way that Riot seems to be balancing is towards Kaiser's strengths, that he's probably the player that you keep. And then also, it has to do with the available free agents on the market. When Upset is just sitting there, there's not the equivalent Upset support that is currently unsigned to a roster that you could make a massive upgrade on. So you upgrade the difference between Neon and Upset is much greater than, there isn't a better option than Kaiser that I'm aware of. You'd be taking a risk on a lower level player that might have more upside in the future, but it's just an instant upgrade. And I think that at least Perkz, if there are some potential personality issues with Upset, that Perkz is a veteran enough player to kind of mitigate that quite a bit, I would think. And honestly, I'm pretty sure Photon is used to being criticized about his play and being held to a higher standard because he came through the Korean training system. So maybe that problem just doesn't exist. And like you say, Kaiser is also German, so he's used to the bluntness in many ways.
Like, that was a part
who is going to be perturbed? Like, who is going to be perturbed by Upset being a little bit blunt on this roster?
That was the part about that whole Danny thing that I thought got a little bit missed. Because if you notice, I was very light on mention, like the idea like teammates might not have liked him. I just said it as a general thing. I didn't tell you who. But like it was obviously implied. Like, here's the problem. Because what you have to understand is there was a good and a bad. Like, the bad is this, Monty. A lot of Koreans especially don't get the idea that you have mental health problems. Their whole shit's like, just play. Like, dude, just play. Like, we're paid to play. We just do our best. Do as many hours as you can. Quitting isn't even an option. You're not even allowed to sub out. Like that's their vision of the game. But the other thing is, the good part is this. That's why those coaches and the other Koreans were like, sub him immediately. If he's having problems now, get him out of the team completely. So it's like, in a way, there was like, it's like it covered for itself. Because that could have been really brutal if they were just essentially hating on the guy because he couldn't play, but they thought you should play like a Korean would. But the good side, as people noticed, was once they identified it's a problem, like they would in Korea, they sub you off the game one of a series, guys. Like, they don't sit around and let you tank for months and months. But if they think you have problems, they go, right, that's very sad. Get the fuck out of the team. Like, they're immediately. So the good news is, yeah, like you say, like,
LPL's the same way, right? LPL's the same way. They have enough redundancies that they don't, they have a more brutal competitive structure because there are more options. So the teams can be more cutthroat.
Yes.
and have players that rise up and can replace them. So I don't know. I think this team, what I would assume about their personalities is that these guys all are pretty fierce competitors and want to win and can hold each other accountable in a way. And that's an environment that you want. And I still have faith in their coaching staff. I think Carter did a really good job on Misfits last year. It's a great change that they've made. It seems to have borne fruit immediately. And I'm very excited to hopefully see this team internationally. I think that finally we have arrived at the Vitality roster that can win the league.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.